So my name is Silvia Reichenbach. I came from Italy, where I'm living, even if I was living a lot of part of my life out of Italy. Now I am in Finland and come back to Italy again, and this was a great experience here in Turku, in the Peri Gallery, in the exhibition Silent Voices, self-portrait Silent Voices, in collaboration with Paola Livorsi and Saila Susiluoto. We just made a work together about self-portrait, because I'm working about self-portrait for a long time. In fact, this year it's very important for me because it's 25 years that I'm just working about this theme and about self-portrait and about myself, about identity. So this was very interesting because we collaborated with the sound, because Paola, she's a composer of music, and Saila, she's a poet. So we just take her books, in the books of rooms, and where she's speaking a lot about space and about a labyrinth, about woman and growing of a woman's development from child to woman. So it was very interesting for me because it was just really a complete work about myself. Generally I'm working alone with my photography, but in the last years I'm really collaborated more and more with the other artists and with the other art, like music, like video, like poetry and theater and dance, because I'm really very interested to open this possibility to express ourselves. And for me, really this work about myself and this work about self-portrait, it's something so intimate and so deep. And it was very interesting because when I started in the Academy of Art, I was making picture and sculpture and drawing, but really when I started to the photography was really like the click that, okay, this is my way to express myself from photography and through my image about myself. And it's sure now that it's 25 years passed, it's very interesting because I can see really how the work it's just growing and just move and just develop like myself, for sure, so we can compare these two things. And in this work, in this exhibition, maybe it was the first time that I just worked with the place, the same place, and more in the architectural structure. Because before I was a lot outside in the nature, so after little by little come more close to closed space, but generally I am outside always with the light from sunlight, not artificial light. And in this case it was very interesting because I just must to feel really myself inside rooms, inside a place, and just feel free to do things with myself inside this space. So this video is very important for us. It was made from Rita Lavalle. She's an historical art in Italy, and she wanted just to go a little more deep about how a new creation is coming out. So she made an interview about me and about Rita, about Paola, and she's telling a little bit how the process of this creation was doing together. And in particular, we started to work in Turin about this and thinking with Paola how we can make something together about sound and our voices and images of myself. So Rita, she was taking all the story, and in particular the period of the residence that we had together with Paola in France the last summer, 2011. And in this period we had just a time to work together and to share each day how we will create and do these things together. So in the video it's just start from there, and after in September we had an exhibition together in Helsinki. So we are speaking a little bit about this exhibition and just until to come to Turku. You know, I think it's very interesting the work about self-portrait, because there is something really very rational or very controlled, because I just put my camera on the tripod and so just decide which composition I will make. So there is something that just I work about this a long time. In another part there is something that it's just come out in the sense that when I put the camera, and I'm working alone generally most of the time, so I just have this 10 seconds to move, so I can just imagine the picture or just see something, but in the moment that there is the click of the camera, I'm not seeing what's happening, but I am the model in the other part of the camera. So this is very interesting for me, that there is always something very structured and very worked, and another part that is just intuitive and just be there, really the presence, and really to feel what's going on with this. And with all, can be some rain, it's raining, or some wind, or some cold, or something hot, or some lights. In one moment it will come, you know, like in this picture, for example, that it was just a second, you know, that this light come there, so I can feel this light on my body, you know. So it's very interesting, and I didn't know really where the light it can be. So it's very interesting this, and I think our life is like this too, you know, that there is something that we are so thinking, controlling about our life, and do things, and be very straight, and know things. And in the other hand, there is so many, by chance I meet somebody and my life can change without thinking about this, or just something happen, work, a place, a country, you know, there is something that we don't know what's happened. And so this work about myself, it just show these two things, and it's very interesting, because always the border, it's very narrow, you know, the rational things and intuitive things is coming. So this is a dance room. So I was here inside alone for a long time, and closed the windows outside and just seeing myself. And this contact with my image was so strong, and just I was really feel that in a sense we are in contact with our face, generally, whereas we are seeing our face in the mirror, or a little bit of our body, but not so much, you know, not nude generally. So there was something very strong with me and my image. And in another way, I was thinking that we never know how others are seeing us. So there was really this incredible particular moment of what is myself, or where other can see myself, and there is mirror in all the part of the room. So it was really beautiful to see all these faces. And there is something that is very important for me with the wreath of this picture too, and all this reflection, you know. And it's very beautiful too that in some way you can see like a space, and you don't know that there is a mirror, or only after when you can see, oh, there is something strange because there is some line and it's not straight. So I like this play with reality and with something else, that it just broken the reality. And for sure the time and the watch here, it's very important, because in photography there is something that is so, we know always at what time we take this picture, or the picture it's really linked with time and with the time that pass, and to see ourselves and to see our photography after some times, and to see us changing. And for me it's very important to see always, you know, for example, in this exhibition it's very interesting for me to see another time after a time that I made the work, the exhibition and the photo. So I think photography have always something to do with times. And so in a way it's like this, in another way I think photography has to do with eternity, with something that timeless, you know, that it's just open for infinity.
La luce si è immersa nella terra. La luce si è immersa nella terra. Juuret lepäävät veden kirkkaudessa. La luce si è immersa nella terra. Eksymme labyrinttiin jokainen. Ei se ole lanka, vaan valo. Juuret lepäävät veden kirkkaudessa. Le radici riposano nella chiarezza. Valo on uponnut maahan. La luce si è immersa nella terra. Eksymme labyrinttiin jokainen. Ognuno di noi. Non è un ei se ole lanka, vaan valo.
Muisto on tapahtumaa todempi.
הזיכרון יותר אמיתית.
Kaikki muistuttaa toisesta.
הזיכרון יותר
Everything reminds of another.
Everything reminds of another.
La memoria è più vera dell'evento. La tristezza mi è attraversata sotto forma di persone. Mi ha meurato.